Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps. For today's card, I'm using the Bold Backgrounds Vintage Roses die, and we're going to do some fun ink blending with a bunch of different colors. So I have a few different color families. I'm going to do teals and green, some yellows and oranges, corally oranges, and then like pinks and purples. So this first one here, this is one of the larger roses. There's 2 large roses, 3 medium, and 3 buds that go on this background. So I'm just ink blending where I can see that there is some embossed areas because that's the part of the flower you're going to see. This first one is teals and greens. This is going to be the color combination. I will do that for 2 of the flowers, a large one and a medium. And in between, I'm just going to clean up my work surface so that way I don't contaminate with other colors. So I'm just laying this out, making sure that my colors are good. And then there's a few more pieces that I will add to this once I've glued them together, because I wasn't quite sure what colors I wanted these little other pieces to be. So you guys will see that here in just a little bit. Here is this next large flower. This is where I'm going to do like the yellow, orange, and kind of corally oranges. Again, just doing the ink blending where I see the embossed areas, or you could just ink blend the whole area, but to me it's just kind of time saving to only have to worry about the parts that you're going to see. So here I'm bringing in another color, that orange color. The first one's a coral, and then this will be a yellow. And that's both of those large flowers. Then we're going to start working on the smaller flowers. I will do a purple and pink combination as well. And then I'll repeat this color combination for the other flowers, but I'll just show you all of the ink blending. I am lightly ink blending some of the other areas just so it's not stark white if you see it from the side. So it all does have a little bit of color, but I'm not worried about ink blending everything. So that medium-sized flower has 3 pieces to that. I've got 2 more of those, so we're going to bring back in the teal and green colors. I love ink blending. I think it's a really fast and easy way to color images, especially when you have something that has a bunch of layers. It just goes so quickly, and then your color combinations are really kind of endless because usually you have a lot of colors of ink, so this does make it go fairly quick. Here we're back to the coral and orange and yellow colors. And even though this video is sped up a bit, you can see that it does go really, really quickly. Now we have our little buds, which is just 1 layer for the flower, and then there is the green layer that goes over that, but we will color all the green stuff here in just a little bit. So these little buds are just 1 color from each of the color family that I decided to put together here. So we're going to do a purple one, a teal one, and a coral one. Now I'm going to glue these together because I did talk about having some other little pieces that go on these larger flowers, and I wanted to get them together before I decided what color I wanted to ink those. It's almost like little highlight areas. So once I have this together, I decided I'm going to go with more of kind of that minty green because that's going to stand out against the teal blues that are in the background. So there's 3 pieces that go on this large flower, so I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue, pop that in place, and I can put this next one in place, and then this final piece. So you can see this has a lot of light green, and I was just trying to decide where it fits, and then we have that cute one. Let's do our coral, orange, and yellow. I'm going to color these yellow. I realized from that first flower that I want to go with the lightest color, and so that's why I did ink blend it that way. And then we can pop all of these guys in place. I love this bold background. It makes it easy to have your whole A2 size card filled up with images, which is really nice. You don't have to do any thinking. Everything is in its place. And all you have to do is, because when you have the background die cut, you see where the flowers go, so all you have to do is just put them in place. So I think this really makes for easy cards as far as placement and having to put a design together. Let's adhere these medium flowers And then there's also centers to these flowers. I'm going to do some ink blending with some brown ink. We're going to color the centers. And then we have the green that we need to color that are going to go on the buds. I'm also going to be using a little bit of that on the background. So I'm just going to tap this with a blender brush, and then we can adhere these in place. And obviously you could make the centers any color that you want. I decided to go with brown. It was a great neutral, obviously, and I feel like it would pop against all the fun colors that we have going on with these flowers. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue, little dots of liquid glue, and then just popping those in place. Okay, let's ink blend this. I'm going to go with a darker green. I'm going to use a light green and a dark green also for the background. So I opted to go with a darker green for these buds. And obviously these go together super quick. You just overlay at the bottom, and now you have your little flower buds. I did die cut the background twice. I wanted it to have a little bit of dimension, so when I adhere it together, it'll stand up just a little bit, but I'm only going to ink blend the top background. I'm actually starting with the lightest color of ink. This will make it go really, really fast. And I'm using a bigger blender brush just to get everywhere quickly. Then I'm coming in with that darker green, and I'm only ink blending with a smaller blender brush on the stems. It will then slightly go on to some of the leaves, which will just give some nice dimension without even having to try. It'll just give it some shadow, dark areas, light areas, shadow, highlights, without even having to try hard. Okay, so adding some dots of glue. This is going to be the bottom piece to our background, and then I can adhere the one that we did the ink blending right on top. And now we have this dimensional background. Making sure everything is adhered down with the glue, and then we can start adding our flowers. I decided that I wanted these to be popped up with some foam adhesive. I wanted the flowers to have extra dimension. I think it looks beautiful even if it is adhered directly to the background, but I really love dimension on my cards, and it's pretty rare if I don't have something dimensional. So that is why I decided to do that with these flowers. So I'm just going to get all of the foam adhesive on the back of these, and then I can just start peeling back the release paper and placing them down where they go. So I'm laying out my colors, deciding how I want this to go. I don't want all of one color bunched up in one corner, so I just want to get an idea of where and how I want this to be laid out. I think I do end up changing the buds around a couple times, but the big flowers are essentially where I want them to be. And again, you're just placing them where you can see the opening, so it makes this super easy for placement. So if that's something that you might have, a little more difficult time doing, this is already done for you, and it is a no-brainer. Let's finish up these last few flowers. I just think it looks so pretty. And then we're going to do a little bit of splatter. I've really been into the splatter lately. I'm not sure why, but it's just been a lot of fun to me. So I'm going to use the Honeybee Stamps Be Shimmery because I want some shimmer on my background. So I'm going to splatter this everywhere. And then I'm also going to use a little bit of acrylic paint watered down with, of course, some water just to thin it out. And I'm gonna go pretty heavy-handed on this background, especially on the flowers. I really wanted to have a lot of white splotches. And then while that's setting aside to dry, I'm gonna do some sentiments. I actually stamped out 4, but I couldn't get 4 to fit nicely on the background, so I actually ended up using 3. This is the Mini Messages Every Day stamp set, and then there's the Mini Messages banners that I'm going to use to die cut it out. One says hello beautiful, another one says I just wanted to say, then another one you are amazing, and then the fourth one says I think it's you are the best, but I ended up not using that one. So I'm using these dies. Some of these dies are too large for the sentiment, but once you die cut them, I lined them up on the left side. And then once I die cut it, I can then shift down the die and die cut it and cut the excess off the right side. So I'm going to do my first die cutting, run this through the machine, and then I'll show you that I'm just going to slide down the sentiment, or the die, excuse me, on the right side, tape that in place, and then I will run that through my die cut machine, and then we have everything to the perfect size. I'm using a gold mirror A2 size background to adhere this floral bold background on. I struggled with a lot of backgrounds with white, craft, black, but I opted to do a gold mirror. I just thought it'd be really funny, and it's so reflective. I just love that. Then I have some foam tape behind my sentiments, and I'm just going to line them up. And this says, "Hello, beautiful. I just wanted to say you are amazing." And I'm also wanting to add a little bit, a few of the Crystal Glimmer enamel stickers. They just kind of blend in and give something a little bit shimmery, which I love. Let's take a look at this up close. I think this is a fantastic die, and I think it turned out so pretty, and it was really easy and quick to put together. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.